prior to Election Day. They found out the Sharpies didn't work, so they said, okay, we can't use Sharpies anymore, but we are going to use them on Election Day. Like, they just openly said this in an email. Like, it almost beggars belief. I just want to just run me through it again. Very simply, did I hear you correctly? They knew
you heard
the
me
Sharpies,
exactly right.
They knew the Sharpies wouldn't work, and they used them anyway.
So I'll just paraphrase and read from the email what I can see here. Quote, we've heard you and we know we're having issues and concerns regarding Sharpie markers. Starting tomorrow, 10/23, October 23rd, and through 11/2, we are asking to use ballpoint pens in all caps rather than markers. However, the next sentence, remember that's through 11/2, we need in all caps to use markers on Election Day. It makes no sense. We know that the markers don't work is what this email says. We know that they're creating issues. We know people don't trust them. We know apparently they're bleeding through is what we've heard. We know that it's disqualifying entire ballots, but we have to use them on Election Day.
The anti-human forces of the globalists thought that they could destroy humanity. They thought they'd intimidated us. The truth was we were asleep, we were in a trance, we were under a spell, but now that spell is broken and humanity is rising. But the globalists have launched their counterstrike. They're not going to give us our freedom back easily. So now is the time, more important than in thousands of years of human history, at this crossroads, for you to be involved. Please spread the word about band.video, Infowars.com. Please financially support us and get great products at the same time. And please pray for us. I know you will. You have been. It's why we're winning. But now, double down.
I see Tom Pappert over here nodding sagely as I recitate InfoWars' many accomplishments. Thanks so much for being on with us, Tom. And of course, this is yet another perk of tuning into Infowars.com as you get incredible punditry and just dissection of the modern political world with people like Tom Pappert. How are you, Tom?
I'm doing great, Harrison, and I am extremely pumped. I think that the energy is finally turning in this country. People are realizing that there is a fight on their hands. The media today is in an absolute hysteric panic mode. I've never seen anything like it, not since they lost 4 years ago. It's very strange for them to be declaring victory and yet to be screeching at such an insane volume. So it's very exciting, Harrison. I'm happy to be fighting the steel in my own small way.
Absolutely. It's the tide is turning, and we've said it here many times. The waves may be spectacular, but they're brief, and then they're gone. This is the changing of the tide. This is the slow but steady reversal of so many years, decades even, of corruption of our republic finally coming to an end and reversing, and we will regain what our forefathers fought and died for. Incredible stuff. So you always have your finger on the pulse of modern politics. I know you have some breaking news or some new intricacies about the so-called Sharpie Gate that you want to get into. What's the biggest story for you for today at National File and for Mr. Pappert himself? What's big today? What's happening today?
Well, the biggest story, of course, in the country is Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, and Jenna Ellis all getting up there on stage today and delivering a powerful, persuasive argument that shows this thing is so far from over. It's just beginning. And if we're lucky, if we have God's blessing, we might just not only get rid of the fraud from 2020, we might just expose the fraud from the past decades, because this did not just start. But what we've exposed at National File, it actually goes back to Arizona, like you said, Harrison, with Sharpie Gate, where voters were in Maricopa County, one of the biggest counties, but always been Republican, but always been a little bit purple. This time it's been solid blue like nobody's ever seen. Well, turns out on Election Day, the voters were given Sharpies to fill out their ballots, which seemed odd. They bleed. You do not use Sharpies on a ballot. Nobody had ever heard of it. Well, turns out the Maricopa County Board of Elections had actually sent out all kinds of material saying, no, we're actually using Sharpies. We got fancy new paper that is Sharpie proof. So we're only going to use Sharpies, and that'll somehow make it more secure. Well, about a week ago, National File dug up a video that was put out before any of these new materials saying, again, never, ever, ever use a Sharpie. And then just today and last night, it's broken. There's been an email that has leaked. Nobody will go on the record denying its authenticity, but there's an email that has leaked that shows one of the top people, the assistant director, Kelly Dixon in Maricopa County Board of Elections office. She is saying, okay, okay, we understand. The Sharpies do not work. We've heard your concerns. We're going to stop using them immediately on October 22nd, and we will stop using them through November 2nd. But we must use the Sharpies that don't work and invalidate ballots on Election Day, November 3rd, Harrison. So it's this totally unfathomable level of propaganda where if you dare mention Sharpiegate on any form of hostile social media, you will be fact-checked until the end of your life. But on the ground in Maricopa County, people have resigned over this already. People are being investigated over this. It's been confirmed by state representatives that it is being investigated. And now we have an email where they admit they know the Sharpies are causing problems, but we have to use them anyway. So this is Arizona is far from over. That was one state that was not mentioned very much in today's press conference, and I understand why, but it's far from over as well, Harrison.
So that's incredible. Let me just wrap my mind around this. They were using ballpoint pens and Sharpies to fill out ballots and to like test the machines prior to Election Day. They found out the Sharpies didn't work, so they said, okay, we can't use Sharpies anymore, but we are going to use them on Election Day. Like, they just openly said this in an email. Like, it almost beggars belief. I just want to just run me through it again very simply. Did I hear you correctly? They knew
you heard
the
me
Sharpies,
exactly right.
They knew the Sharpies wouldn't work, and they used them anyway.
So I'll just paraphrase and read from the email what I can see here. Quote, we've heard you and we know we're having issues and concerns regarding Sharpie markers. Starting tomorrow, 10/23, October 23rd, and through 11/2, we are asking to use ballpoint pens in all caps rather than markers. However, the next sentence, remember that's through 11/2, we need in all caps to use markers on Election Day. It makes no sense. We know that the markers don't work is what this email says. We know that they're creating issues. We know people don't trust them. We know apparently they're bleeding through is what we've heard. We know that it's disqualifying entire ballots, but we have to use them on Election Day. Maricopa County in Arizona is proving to be a hotbed of corruption that nobody knew existed prior to this. Everybody knew Philly. Everybody knew Detroit. Everybody knew these places. But if you've been watching what's happened in Maricopa County since Trump won 4 years ago, we've seen Sheriff Joe Arpaio cast out into the cold. We've seen judges go into this county. We've seen all kinds of Democrat political corruption, and now it's coming home to roost in the form of all things Sharpie markers.
That is utterly amazing. And I'm trying to think of what the justification would be, why they say, oh, but we have to use Sharpies on Election Day. It's like, why? Why would that be the case? They don't lay it out there in the email. I can't imagine what it could possibly be. What's going to be the result of this here in the next minute we have before we have to go to break? What do you think is going to happen? Are they going to overturn this? Are they going to just throw out all of these? Are we going to have to redo the election? Like, what's going to happen now that this evidence has come forth through National File?
Well, I can say that the Trump campaign is well aware of this. The legal team is well aware of this, and it's moving forward in that fashion. This is absolutely going to be another arrow in the quiver of election fraud examples and potential election fraud and irregularity examples. So I would say, bare minimum, the Republican Party is now on notice in Maricopa County. They know that we are on to them. They know that we have our eyes on Arizona. Harrison, we had the chair of Maricopa County resign in disgrace last week because of our reporting, and we're not done yet.
That's right. Truly incredible stuff from National File and Tom Pappert, as well as Patrick Howley, totally killing it over there. And by it, I mean Democratic corruption. Killing it. Dead.
Climb to the top of the food chain with Alpha Power by InfoWars Life. For those who want to increase testosterone and energy levels. Most men know that testosterone levels begin to decline starting around 30 at a rate of about 1 to 2% per year. This drop can show signs such as fatigue, low energy, low sex drive, and muscle loss. Alpha Power is packed with some of the most potent and clinically tested ingredients on the market. The secret is in the synergistic blend of ancient ingredients that have been concentrated into their most potent forms, including Uricoma longifolia, originally from Malaysia, maca root from Peru, horny goatweed from China, and tribulus from India. Reach your alpha male potential with Alpha Power. Head to InfoWarsLife.com and secure your bottle today.